Hey everyone, it's Scott Gerfin. Thanks for listening to the OSBA Leading the Way podcast. These episodes are brought to you by Pappas and Associates, shaping policy with integrity. You know, we talk a lot about local support from OSBA, but who has your back at the national level? With me today is Julie Feasel. She is Director of Communications for the Consortium of State School Boards Associations, also known as COSSBA. Welcome in, Julie. Thanks for being here.
Hey, it's great to be here. I'm glad that you're having me because I want to educate all of your members on what COSSBA is doing for them at the federal level.
So my first question is, let's say I'm a school board member in Northwest Ohio in a small rural district. I'm a member of OSBA, which means I'm also a member of COSSBA. What can COSSBA do for me?
Yes, that's a great question, and I'm happy to answer it. You know, OSBA is looking out for all school board members at the state level. Think of COSSBA as looking out for school board members at the federal level. We were formed in 2022, and our main goal is to be that nationwide alliance for school boards associations and their members to bring them training and federal advocacy. We're a nonpartisan organization. I like to tell people that we're purple, and our main concern is protecting public education.
What's the big priority right now for COSSBA that you're working on?
The big priority is making sure that you all in your state associations have the training and leadership needs that you need to serve your members while also watching what's happening at the federal level when it comes to federal legislation.
And there's a lot going on at the federal level, right?
That's my biggest question right now. What's going to happen in January? And I can tell you I have an answer. We don't know yet.
You don't know yet.
But I can assure you that we will be working to make sure that public education is a priority at the federal level. We want to ensure that we have affordable internet connections for all of our schools and students. We want to ensure that the school nutrition program is protected and that funding for school districts, public school districts, is enhanced and preserved.
You talked about a little bit about the formation of COSSBA, so I just want to go back and touch on that a little bit because I know our former CEO, Rick Lewis, was very instrumental in getting this group together, right?
Yes, he was. Rick and several other executive directors of state associations got together in about 2021 and started to discuss, you know, maybe we need an association that focuses on strengthening the state school boards associations. And so they got together in 2021. COSSBA was officially formed in 2022, so we're fairly new. And we started with 22 state school boards associations, and we now have 25 state school boards association members. So our members, unlike the state associations where the members are the actual school board members, our members are you. You know, the Ohio School Boards Association, Illinois, Georgia, Virginia, you know, so those are our members. And we strongly believe that if you are successful, that our school board members are successful. And so that's what our focus is serving the state school boards associations.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about how COSSBA collaborates with these state school board associations.
I'm glad that you asked. We have several in-person meetings that we have every year. We have one coming up in March, which I'll get to a little bit later. But the great strength in COSSBA is the sharing of information and ideas. So, for example, if Kathy has a question about something that's happening in another state, maybe Virginia has that answer. And so we are a whole collection of information and ideas. We have a whole area on our website that shares everything from governance options to job descriptions. You know, we really want to provide that information that the state associations need, not only just to run their day-to-day business, but also to serve their members. So think of us as, you know, a big think tank for state school boards associations.
And you were talking about Kathy McFarland,
yes,
Dr. Kathy McFarland, who is our current CEO.
Yes.
So just to make sure our listeners knew who Kathy was when you were talking about that. So I know we're relatively new. COSSBA's a relatively new organization, but I'm sure there are some success stories
I think our biggest success story is our growth in such a short time. We've added additional states, but also B, our success is that sharing of information. That is such an important thing for our state school board executives to have. Dr. McFarland participated in our mentorship program for new executive directors. So she had a direct line to somebody that she could call and say, hey, I've got this happening in Ohio. Have you ever, dealt with this? How can you help me? And so it's that whole support system that is a true success for us. And I can only see that growing.
So yeah, that's some examples. So whether it be the advocacy piece or just how you're handling different things that go on in the schoolhouse, right?
Exactly. In the schoolhouse or your day-to-day operations.
Right.
Hey, Scott, you've got a podcast going. Can you tell me how you got that started? If you're another state who doesn't have one, it's a great think tank of how you can best serve your members.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I did have Wisconsin actually had gotten in touch with me to talk about our podcast. So yeah, they're a member.
They are a member and it's already working. So there's a great example of a success story.
So I wanted to talk about the advocacy piece because I know I know we have we have a group that goes to Washington, which they did, I think, what was it back
in September?
In September.
I was there with them.
Right. And that, I think that is a big thing that our members really see with COSSBA is that advocacy piece. And I'm sure we have lobbying team members just like we do here at OSBA. I mean, so that's where they are. They're on the Hill lobbying for the most important things.
Exactly. Yes. We have lobbyists in Washington, D.C. who are watching out for for what we support. And so just like, and I'm a former school board member, by the way, here in Ohio in the Olentangy Local School District. And when I was a school board member, I was constantly calling OSBA, to talk about, hey, what's happening with school funding? What's happening with the third grade reading guarantee? And so that is COSSBA on the federal level. And so we've got people watching out for what's happening, in Washington, D.C. Every year we do a federal advocacy conference, which Ohio sent the largest contingent this year, which was great. And, we have a day of learning about what those federal issues are, how we talk about them. And then we have a day where we send everyone to the Hill and they talk to their local representatives, in the House and Senate.
So you mentioned a lot of things a lot of events. Your big one that's coming up in March is the annual conference. And it's kind of like, if you want to compare it, it's kind of like the Capitol Conference, right?
It is.
We host in November, but it's
on a national level.
On a national level. And let's just start out. It's coming up. It's March. And what are the dates?
Yep. It's in Atlanta at the Hilton Atlanta, and it's March 21st through the 23rd. We do have a pre-conference day. We have an organization that's called the Unified Boards Alliance that deals with specific unique topics for school boards. Like the UBA will look at poverty rates, schools in crises. How do you deal with homeless students? And so they have a pre-conference day on the 20th. Their closing speaker is Dr. Bernice King. She is the daughter of Dr. Martin Luther King and the CEO of the King Center. So really excited to hear about her. Exactly. And being in Atlanta, that's a perfect speaker for us. So the pre-conference day, we have the breakout sessions and the keynote speakers. Dr. John Hodge is going to be opening the pre-conference day. And then on the 21st, the full conference officially opens, and that has, over 70 concurrent sessions, breakout sessions on, different topics from school finance to AI, in the schoolroom. We have tracks for everybody, for executive directors to board members to even school board assistants. And so that's exciting. we have our big member meeting. We have an exhibit hall, networking. And for people that are staff members of state associations, we have work-alike group meetings. So the communications people will be getting together. The meeting planners will be getting together. So it's a big national conference of sharing of ideas and learning.
Well, I'm definitely hoping to get there because
I hope you come.
Yeah. But why should our members want to go to this?
Yes. As a school board member, a former school board member, or maybe I should call myself a recovering school board member, I always like to learn. And whenever I came to OSBA conference, I always like to hear what the other Ohio school districts were doing.
Right.
When you come to a COSSBA event, you get to hear what's happening at the national level and be informed. How is this, national legislation going to impact, somebody in Morgan County, or in Allen County? And so it's really important now. I mean, it's not just what's happening in Columbus that impacts school boards. Right. It's what's happening at the federal level that's going to impact your school board as well. So I highly recommend that you come to the national conference in Atlanta in March.
So I think you touched on some of the key themes and topics, but I mean, when you come up with these topics, it's what board members are telling you, hey, this is what we want to hear about.
Yes. Right? And actually our presenters of our concurrent sessions are board members and staff members from the state associations. Right. So they go through a rigorous process. You have to submit what you're going to be presenting. And we have a panel of people, and not myself, that goes through all of them and ranks them. And that's how, we present them. And that's what you'll be hearing from are your peers. That's what's so great about it.
And it's interesting because that's how we select our learning sessions as well. And you're hearing from your peers, and that's exactly what it's like at the Capitol Conference as well. And you mentioned the networking and professional development, which is, I find that to be invaluable when you go. Even at our Capitol Conference, I'm seeing other public relations people in schools. I mean, this is where you're going to run into other people who are just like you or doing the same things you're doing, right?
Yes. And you're going to learn what works and what didn't work.
Right.
And so I think that's invaluable. We have several states, Georgia being one of them, that they are doing PR campaigns now promoting public education and choosing public schools. And, you might pick up a couple of tips that you want to incorporate, here at the Ohio School Boards Association. Right. And so it's that sharing of ideas that we feel, only makes our consortium stronger.
So I have to ask you then, so how do people register?
Yes.
How do they go about doing that? And what are the deadlines to get that done?
Yes. Registration is open. And it'll probably be open through March. And you go to COSSBA.org. That's COSSBA.org. And under events, you can register. Registration is $775 if you just want to do the COSSBA conference. If you want to add in the pre-conference day, which I hope you do, it's $995. You can also follow us on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and X.
Perfect. One final thing, before I let you go, what does the future hold for COSSBA? Growth. I think you touched on that.
Yes. The future is unlimited for COSSBA. It's, we've only been officially formed since 2022. And since that, we have had such enthusiasm for our organization. Yeah. We have 25 states who are really involved. Our board of directors is made up of executive directors and board members. And so it's a great mix of people. We are for, and will always be for the state school boards associations. Yeah. And so we want to support them as much as we can. And I'm excited for what the future holds.
So, our members stay connected with us and they can stay connected with you, right?
Absolutely.
Pick up the phone.
Yes. Pick
email.
up the phone.
Yeah.
I'm actually here in Ohio. Our entire staff works remotely. So I'm, here in Ohio, but all of our information is on our website at COSSBA.org. And if you follow us, and I hope that you do, on social media, you can always comment. You can direct message us. You can email us at hello@COSSBA.org. And
I like that. Hello. That's easy to,
hello@COSSBA.org. And we will get back to you. And I hope to hear from you all.
She is Julie Feasel. She is the Director of Communications for the Consortium of State School Boards. I always got to get boards associations.
Yes, because there's a lot of state school boards.
Right. Or COSSBA. Julie, thank you again for coming on the podcast.
Hey, I appreciate it. And I hope that more people go out and learn about us. And I appreciate you making the time so that I can present us on your platform.
You're very welcome. And also thanks to our sponsor, Pappas and Associates. They are shaping policy with integrity.